The story's the same every year. Light the candles, blow them out, eat the cake. I smile while everyone sings, I party with my friends, have a few drinks, and go home. But the second the clock hits 3:27, I sit up straight in bed and wait for my bones to break. It's an ugly sight, limbs cracking and twisting, and the smell of blood and marrow isn't exactly appetizing. But the worst part, without a doubt, is the sound. The crunch and pop of bone, the whine of stretching skin, the wet splat of blood. I've never gotten used to it, not even after 27 years. For days afterward, I can't open a soda can or stretch a rubber band without a chill running up my spine. It's embarrassing and awkward, like all the worst parts of puberty squeezed into 10 minutes, maybe with a little less acne. It also puts a serious damper on any chance of birthday sex. I try not to be too bitter about it. My mom says it's normal, that it runs in the family. Her cousin in Fresno apparently has the exact same problem, except she goes through it every time she gets her period. So, in a way, I guess I got lucky. No one's really sure what causes it. I've heard genetic disorders, werewolf bites, even a curse. But the problem remains the same. Every year, at the exact time of my birth, my body breaks, twists, and rearranges itself. The next morning, I see a completely different person in the mirror. When I was younger and upset about it, my mom tried to make me feel better by saying I was like a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. She stopped trying after I turned 13. This year, it's my 27th birthday, and my 27th face. I don't even bother trying to sleep. I just stay awake, scrolling on my phone, counting down the minutes. Thankfully, it doesn't hurt, emotional and psychological damage aside. By now, I've learned to plan ahead. I put a plastic cover on the bed so I don't stain my sheets. When the transformation finally comes, it's sudden. A slight twinge in my bones is the only warning I get. I do my best to breathe, relax, and just ride out the wave. My ribs go concave, my fingers bend backward, my teeth shift in their gums, and my vision blurs. When my new body finally settles, I wiggle my toes first just to test things out. Everything seems to have gone smoothly. If anything, it seems to be getting easier with age. I won't know for sure until I measure, but I think I've grown a few inches this time. I swing my feet over the edge of the bed and pad barefoot to the bathroom to inspect the damage in the mirror. Last year, my face was soft and sweet, the kind that made you feel safe sharing secrets. This time, my cheekbones are higher, my chin a little pointier. When I smile, my right incisor is crooked. It's bad enough that anyone would tell me to get braces, but there's not much point. I'll have a completely different smile in a year anyway. I start practicing expressions. Anger, then excitement, then despair. I cycle through human emotions, trying each one on for size. I don't like this face nearly as much as the last one. She looks a lot meaner. I curl my lip, tug at the skin under my eyes. Everything feels foreign and out of place, stretched too thin or pulled too tight. I'll have to change my blush placement again. I'm deep in my examination when my phone buzzes against the counter. My mom's face smiles up at me from the screen, bugging me for a video call. She stays up late every year and dials my number the second the clock hits 3:45, ready to see my new face for herself. "Hey, sweetie." Her voice bounces off the bathroom tile. "Ooh, I like this one. You look very sleek." "Hey, Mom." How she has so much energy at this hour is beyond me. "Did everything go all right?" she asks. "No hiccups this time?" "No, Mom, no hiccups." After my leg got stuck facing the wrong way in 4th grade, my mom always checked to make sure things went smoothly. "Well, that's great." She's holding the camera too close to her face, her wrinkles on full display. She looks like she's in bed. I can hear my dad snoring. "I'm so proud of you." Supportive to the end, as always. It's easy for her to be encouraging. She's had the same face her entire life. "You look a little familiar." She squints through her reading glasses. "Did you have this face before?" I blink. That's new. I've never repeated a face before. Frankly, if that were an option, I would have picked one and stuck with it ages ago. No, I'm pretty sure it's new," I say. My mom takes a closer look, biting her tongue. Are you sure? I could have sworn I've seen you somewhere before. I'm your daughter, Mom, I sigh. You've seen me plenty of times before. The whole thing is crazy enough as it is if I think about it too long, and a quiz from my mom is the last thing I need. Look, I'm tired, and I've got work tomorrow. I'm fine, everything went fine, and I look fine. Can I call you back tomorrow? Of course, sweetie. My mom chirps. I'm just happy to see your face. I love you. I'll call you tomorrow. Love you too, Mom. Thanks for calling. Get some rest. Oh, and happy birthday. She waves at her phone, then hangs up. I'm left alone in the bathroom, my face harsh in the white fluorescent lights. I take one last look, drinking it all in. This is what I have to work with for the next year. Best to get comfortable with it now. The face of a stranger stares back, tired and slightly judgmental. My face just looks more sour. I sigh and flick off the lights, wandering back to my room. I peel the plastic off my bed and crawl under the covers, doing my best to ignore the new sensation of air on my toes as my feet poke out from the two short sheets. The transformation always tires me out. It only takes a moment for me to fall asleep. 3 hours later, my alarm shrieks and yanks me awake. I take a minute to curse myself for being too dumb to call out of work. I unlock my phone with a passcode, no face or fingerprint ID for me, and turn off the alarm before taking a few precious seconds to stare at the ceiling. New year, new me, same piece of shit job. My clothes are all wrong now, chosen for a body that no longer exists. My pants are showing a lot more ankle, and my shirt suddenly has extra fabric around the chest. I make a big breakfast. The transformation isn't painful, but it always leaves me ravenous for the next few days. The walk to my car is quick. Adding a few extra inches of height really helps you cover ground faster. I get a few strange looks as I walk, but it's nothing new. My neighbors are used to a completely different woman leaving my apartment each morning, so a little light staring is allowed. One girl lets out a sharp gasp, her face drained of blood. It's a stronger reaction than I'm used to, and it's almost enough for me to stop and explain, but her friends shush her and usher her along before I get the chance. My car is cheap and dirty, but it's tolerated quite a few bumps, and it always waits patiently for me. I feel like my last face fit the car better. My current appearance seems more suited for something sleek and mean, not an old beater. When I hop in, my knees fold up against the steering wheel. The seat hums as I push it back. I catch another glimpse of my eyes as I adjust the mirrors. The color may be different, but the heavy purple shadows underneath them are something I've gotten used to, no matter what face I wear. The drive to work sucks, like always. 27 minutes through gridlock with top 40 hits and news on the radio. Some prick in a green Volvo won't let me merge, and I lay on the horn with gusto. Asshole! My voice is almost louder than the horn, and I make a rude gesture as I pull even with him. The Volvo revs its engine and speeds off, leaving me in a cloud of foul black exhaust. Killed in a drunk driving accident at 3:15. The annoyingly perky radio host is running down the morning news instead of playing my top 40 hits. I crank the dial to the next station in a huff. It goes from depressing news to 70s dad rock. I cut to the left lane and try not to smile as I pass the Volvo, now stuck behind an old woman in a beat-up sedan. Work is a different kind of miserable today. Being a low-level assistant at a PR firm is already a special hell, filled with groveling and matcha lattes. But there's a tension that usually means I'm about to deal with an extra pile of crap. One girl rushes by, tugging on a broken heel with one hand and taking notes on her phone with the other. The intern in the corner is apologizing profusely into a headpiece, sweat beading his brow. The TV on the wall is playing the news at full blast, a much higher volume than my manager normally allows. Lucy says it throws off her internal monologue, but apparently whatever's playing is more important today. Even the news anchor looks a little somber, her blonde wig deflated and limp. She's covering the death of some celebrity, sporting a picture-perfect pout. I can already feel a headache pulsing behind my eyes. I really should have called out. Holly sits at the center of the chaos, phone in hand, feet propped on her desk, chomping on electric blue raspberry gum. She's humming a K-pop song I faintly recognize. "Morning," I say, heading to the only safe haven. "You know what's going on? It seems kinda tense."
"Morning." Holly blows a bubble and scrolls twice. "Not a clue. How the lead receptionist could get away with caring so little was beyond me. "You already sent someone for coffee?" I ask, hoping the answer is yes. "You know that's your job," she says. "Damn it. Caramel frap with extra whip, please. I think they said they were out of caramel yesterday." "What?" She groans and finally looks up. Her jaw drops. "Whoa, you look different." "My birthday was yesterday, Holly. We've been over this." I know my situation is a little unique, but I've worked here for 5 years. She's had plenty of time to get used to it. She chews her gum, staring thoughtfully at my face. "You look kind of familiar," she says. "Really? That's the second time I've heard that today." "Yeah, I swear I've seen you somewhere." She narrows her eyes before snapping her fingers. "Got it. You look just like my cousin Hannah. Is that a good thing?" I ask. She blows another huge bubble and it pops over her lips. "I mean, it could be worse." Apparently satisfied, she turns back to her phone. "Oh, by the way, Lucy said she wanted you to stop by her office before you grab coffee. Sorry, forgot to mention it earlier." Great. My headache sharpens into an ice pick. Lucy is usually too busy with celebrities to focus on the assistants. It's not a great sign if I have her attention. But there's no choice but to face her. As I walk to her office, the door swings open and Kirsten runs out, her face shining with tears. That can't be good. I start to feel queasy on top of the headache. Maybe Lucy's in a firing mood, and this is the day I finally get laid off. "Come in!" Her voice sounds suspiciously perky. I journey into the lion's den. Lucy's office is clean and fresh, which tells me she rules with an iron fist at home. She has one of those fancy multicolored keyboards with quiet keys, and the soothing sound of running water filters through her speakers. It's all very zen. Lucy is looking out the window, chin in her hand. I'm fully prepared to lose my job. Getting frappuccinos and Americanos only buys so much goodwill. So when she turns around, sees me, and bursts into tears, I'm a little shocked. "Thank God you're all right." She leaps out of her chair and wraps me in a bear hug. I give her an awkward pat on the back. Yeah, everything's fine," I say. Lucy knows about my problem, but she never seemed to worry about me much. Half the time, I'm convinced she doesn't know my name. I'm not sure when we got so close. "I was so worried," she sobbed. "What are you talking about?" I gently peel her off and look her in the eyes. "This happens every year, Lucy. It was my birthday yesterday." Lucy's brow furrows. "Your birthday?" She trails off. "Wait, Jan, is that?" The tears dry abruptly and she takes 3 steps back. Her jaw hangs open, her eyes wide with fear. I shift uncomfortably. Lucy has been through this before, so this reaction seems unnecessary. I half wonder if I missed something during my inspection last night. Maybe I have a lazy eye. "Of course it's me, Lucy. We've been over this a few times." I gently prod. Her mouth still hasn't fully closed. I consider whether tossing a paperclip on her tongue is worth losing my job. Instead of giving me a response, she moves to her desk and furiously types with shaking hands. She beckons me over to her monitor, face grim. She's pulled up a news article from this morning with a picture of a grisly car accident splashed front and center. "Young starlet killed in accident," the headline reads. My mouth dries glow. The article continues, "Supermodel Megan Rogers was killed in a head-on collision with a drunk driver at 3:15 this morning. Authorities are still searching for the culprit. If you have any tips, call the number below." I know that name. Megan Rogers was one of our clients, a big name to help the firm. Lucy had been thrilled. I'd never met her, but I knew she was the new hot thing. "Explain this," Lucy says. I stare back at her. Her death was sad, but it had nothing to do with me. "I'm not sure what you're talking about." I'm walking through a verbal minefield, and I'm worried I have bigger problems than just losing my job. "You will be in a second," Lucy says. She scrolls down, and that's when I see the picture. Same strong nose, same brown eyes, same twist to the upper lip, hell, even the same crooked incisor. Most damning are the little things. The slope of her shoulders, the curve of her nostrils, the slant of her brow. It's a face that's new to me, but intimately familiar. It's the face of a dead woman, but it can't be because it's my own face. Clear as day, staring right back at me. Now, I know about your little situation, but you can see why this might leave me with a few questions. I can barely hear her over my own racing thoughts. I've cycled through different faces and bodies my whole life. Tall, fat, weak, ugly, stunning. I've seen it all. My entire life, I thought they were fresh faces, a kind of rebirth with no history, no strings attached. But this changes everything. As poor, dead Megan Rogers' face stares accusingly at me, one question plays on repeat, drowning out everything else. Have I been wearing the faces of the dead?